Hello, everybody. My name's Jeremy Matlow. I'm running for Tallahassee City Commission. When I first announced my run, there was somebody posted on Facebook and they said, this will probably be the first politician that I volunteer for. And it just kind of hit me, politician. I never intended to be a politician. I've lived in Tallahassee my entire life, and I just got to a point where I truly believe it can be a better city than it is today. Over the years, we've seen a lot change. I remember when Thomasville Road was 2 lanes and Gain Street was 4. There wasn't a Cascades Park, there wasn't a Midtown. We've really kind of grown over the years. I've also seen a lot that hasn't changed. We have a city hall that's been out of step with the communities that they represent. Tallahassee, repeatedly in the news for poverty, inequality, and just general dysfunction. Economic segregation and poverty are huge issues in town, and nobody ever wants to talk about them. So we're going to talk about them. I grew up on Tallahassee's south side, and what that means to me is I can remember laying in bed on the first of the month, hungry, too hungry to get out of bed. My mom had this old Chrysler LeBaron convertible with a really rattly muffler, and you could hear it coming from 2 or 3 streets away. It was really embarrassing to get dropped off at school in it. But on these days, on the first of the month, and if you don't know, that's when food stamps are issued, that rattling muffler was like a dinner bell. It meant we were going to get to eat today. There are still thousands of kids across Tallahassee who are living that same experience right now. A quarter of our city lives in poverty, and half of our city doesn't make enough money to pay their bills. We refer to them as the working poor. I'm sure people in the audience can relate, and I'll tell you a little bit about the working poor. That means working 2 or 3 jobs, 60 hours a week, and coming home too tired to do anything you enjoy. It means seeing people going on vacation and wondering, how can they afford to go on vacation? How can they afford to take a week off to take that vacation? It means getting sick and waiting so long that you end up in the emergency room for a throat infection. And when you leave, having to decide if you're going to buy the painkiller or the antibiotic because you can't afford both. These problems continue to be ignored in the shadows of wealthy and powerful institutions. To me, small community-based business is a powerful tool that we can use to battle this hardship. It was my ticket out of poverty. But too often when we go to the city with a good idea and we want to start a business, we're just met with indifference. Like rather than being a partner in small local business, it becomes an obstacle. When I first started Gain Street Pies, we were a little naive and a little anxious, and we just rented a building. We're like, we're gonna put some pizza ovens over here, we're gonna put in a couple of sinks, and we're gonna sell some pizza. So I drew it on a piece of paper. I went down to the Renaissance Center and said, look, this is what we're gonna do. I paid the money, submitted the plans, and those plans got denied right away. So I went back down and I said, what happened? They said, well, look, this isn't the way we're used to seeing plans. And I said, all right, well, show me a rule where it says I can't draw it on a piece of paper and show you what I'm gonna do. So they had a reviewer that you could sit down and talk your plans through, and he looked at the plans and he started rolling them up and he said, they're not gonna get approved, but let's just submit them and see what happens. And I said, no, let's figure this out. That's why we're here. So there was a little back and forth, and eventually those plans did get submitted and they got denied. And this process just went on for months and months and months, and running out of money every month. And finally, months later, a woman called me and said, okay, what are you trying to do? And I said, well, we're trying to put a pizza oven over here and a couple sinks over there. And in a 20-minute conversation, we were able to resolve exactly what we were trying to do, and we got our permit issued. It shouldn't be that hard. Everyone should be permitted to improve their situation, and no small business should die in permitting. For too long, I've seen insiders dominate City Hall and push policies that work for establishment interests and big money campaign donors, but not for the rest of us. It doesn't have to be that way. Together, we can do better. We need a transformation in City Hall, and we will fight to change it from a place where the elite and everybody else play by two separate set of rules to a place where we can work together to build one Tallahassee. One Tallahassee means a city where a person's opportunities are not determined by their zip code or their school district. One Tallahassee means not putting the desires of national developers before the needs of our neighborhoods. One Tallahassee means not enforcing drug policies that disproportionately affect communities of color and throw people in jail because of outdated laws. One Tallahassee means ensuring equal access to public utilities like clean water, transportation, and a free and open internet. One Tallahassee means when a woman has an idea for a business, we listen to it, and when she opens, we go and spend our money there. One Tallahassee means a city where line cooks, state workers, teachers, nurses, firefighters, bus drivers, artists, social workers, programmers, students, and families all across our city struggling to make ends meet make the decisions about how we run our city, not the same old political class that got us in the mess that we're in today. Together, we can build one Tallahassee that works for all of us, but it's gonna take a lot more than just coming out to rallies and posting on Facebook. We need to take this message to every neighborhood and every door in the city. We need to show up to City Hall in force and let them know that the needs of our community will no longer be ignored. And we need to open our pockets and support candidates that are refusing to be bought and influenced by big money donors. Are you guys with me? All right, let's get to work. Thank you.